Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of Country Bumpkin Creates. My name is Lucy, and I'm coming to you from the outskirts of Dartmoor, which is in southwest of England. You can find me on Instagram as country_bumps and on Ravelry as CountryBumps. Thank you to any returning viewers and welcome to any new viewers. Thank you also for everybody who gives me a thumbs up or leaves a lovely comment or has subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm a bit tired today, which I helped out at a wall festival yesterday, which I'll talk about a bit later, but I am a little bit tired, so please bear with me. Okay, so today, although I did say it was a knitting, crochet and sewing podcast, today is primarily, well, I think it's all my projects are knitting today. And so let's move swiftly on because that's what you're all here for. So today I'm wearing, it's a really horrible, miserable, grey, typical Dartmoor day, unfortunately. It's what we call mizzle, which is misty drizzle. Here today. Normally when one of my front room windows, we've got 3 front room windows. On one of them, that one there, well, no, I don't know why you're saying that one there because you can't see it, but the one sort of directly opposite me at the moment, normally I've got a really good view of one of the tours of Dartmoor, but it's gone. It's not there today. It's typical Dartmoor foggy, misty day, sadly, but it is a bit cold, so this is where hand knits come in useful. So what I'm wearing today is called the Lazy Hiker Shawl by Norah George. So it's a triangular but flat bottomed shawl that's got various different panels to it, I suppose. It started that end. It's a bit blown out. It's not quite as bright as that. The light's not very good today, unfortunately, either. But Laura owns the Four Pearls yarn shop in Florida, and last year it was my 40th birthday in April. So a family group, we went to Florida. So we did Disneyland and Universal and all the usual. And then luckily one day my husband took me to the Four Pearls yarn shop. It was about an hour from where we were staying, and it was such a lovely shop. And the Laura was there and her mum was there, and her mum was who I dealt with, and she just helped me choose lots of lovely yarn. So, but I was already, this isn't yarn that I bought from the Four Pearls shop because I was already knitting this before we left. But if you're over in Florida, then it's well worth checking them out because there's some beautiful yarns. So this is the Lazy Hiker. So it starts off with just a triangle of garter, then it goes into this lovely lace section, and then you stripe your 2 colours, and then another lacy but a different lace pattern. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word then. And then another sort of garter triangle to finish off with. So it's really squishy and cozy. Although it's knitting fingering weight, it is really squishy. I can't remember the yarns. I know this grey was dyed by a friend of mine. She dyed me a lot of contrast, like tonal colours to yarns I already had. And this pink, I think, is Supernatural Yarns on Wednesdays we wear pink, quite possibly. It'll be on my Ravelry project, so I'll link to it below. And the Supernatural Yarns I received in a, I think it was either Fibre Share or You to Me swap, which I think only happened once, which is a shame because it was lovely. So yeah, so it's really warm and squishy. So that's what I'm wearing today. Next up is finished objects. Although I did have 4 finished objects, but 3 were used at the Wool Festival yesterday, so I haven't got them. But I'll put some pictures at the end, or if you go onto my Instagram, you'll see the mandalas. I put all 6 that I'd crocheted on there, but I will, after I've talked about 3 bags full at the end, I will put some pictures in of what the mandalas looked like when they were all hung up. So the finished object that I do have is my Q Train socks, which were the last pattern of the New York sock collection by Mina Phillip, who is the knitting expat on Ravelry. So this was the 7th pattern of the collection, and she's doing 2 more collections. I think they're starting in January. One is going to be a more basic, like, introduction to pattern socks, and then one is going to be a more experienced sock knitter pattern collection, I believe. If you watch her podcasts even, then you will know she's talked about a few of them on there. But I think they're up for sale soon, and then they start in January, I believe. Anyway, let's talk about the Q Train sock. I must admit, this wasn't my favourite pattern of the collection, hence why I only did a short leg, and I only did the pattern on the leg and not the foot, because it just didn't grab me, unfortunately. But you know, that's all the other 6 patterns I've loved doing every single one of those, but for some reason I don't know whether I just wasn't in a sock knitting mojo at that point, or what, but I just wanted to get them finished, really. And I did a eye of partridge heel flap, and gusset decreases. The yarn is Christmas is Coming by, and I do have a second one, honest, so I did finish both of them. Christmas is Coming by Rosie's Moments. And I saw Rosie yesterday at the wool market, and she had this colourway on her stall, so they haven't been blocked yet, which is why they're a bit baggy and weird looking. So yeah, so if you wanted this colourway, then it is available. And I also, as well as putting these in for the New York sock collection knit along that Mina is hosting, I've also entered these into the festive sock along that Amy of Stranded Dyeworks and the Stranded podcast is hosting. So if you go into Amy's podcast group on Ravelry, then you'll see all the information about the festive sock along on there. Okay, so that's it for finished objects. Like I said, I did finish the other 3 mandalas that I needed to finish, but they're not here anymore. So moving on, so now we'll look at my works in progress. So first work in progress is I started some Halloween socks. Look at these Bobby Dazzlers. So this yarn is it's a self-striping by Twisted Limone in the Haunted House colourway, and as you can see, so it comes in these great gobstopper balls, and as you can see, it is all things Halloweeny. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripe repeat, and I took these to the cinema the other night. We went to see Victoria and Abdul, which is a really sweet film, and Knitting in the Dark, and I've done something a bit doofy here which I didn't really realise, and something there is a bit doolally too, so I think I'm going to rip them back, because that's going to like really annoy me, because it's like a lump inside. So I don't know whether I dropped a stitch and then I've picked it back up, or knitted two together, or I don't know what I've done, but something's went a bit doolally. So I'll probably, for ease, I'll probably pick up the stitches on this purple bit, because it's going to be difficult to pick up stitches with black. So I'll pick up the stitches on this purple bit, or put in a lifeline or something, and then just rip it back and re-knit. This is a shame, because I've knit quite a bit since then, but you know when something, you know it's there, and it like, although these socks are for me and it probably wouldn't matter too much, but it's just every time I see it, it really annoys me, so I'm going to pull it back. And I'm going to do these similar to how I did my watermelon socks. I'm going to do them as afterthought everything. So I'm just going to knit a long tube. This is a 100 gram ball. I'm not going to knit the whole 100 grams. Although I might do. I could do, and then I could get socks for me and my sister out of them. That's a thought. I don't know. Watch this space, as they say. So, but I just think they're really fun. Actually, I probably won't knit the whole 100 grams, because it'll take me more than a month, and I want to enter these into the Grocery Girls Sock Bash for October, which is, they're doing 2 themes this month. You can knit any sock that you want to, but you can get additional entries if you knit something Halloween, or if you knit something, because it's breast cancer month. They're based in Canada, so it's breast cancer awareness month. So if you do anything pink or related to breast cancer awareness. So, and also the Knit Girls are doing their Halloween craft all the things, so I can enter them in that. And the lovely Tommy from Squirrel Pie Productions is doing a Deep Dark Night knit along, so I'm going to enter that. So these are going to be like entering all the knit alongs, but hey, why not? If you can make it work, then enter as many as you can. I'm a bit of a knit along fiend, I must admit. I will try and find something that will fit or theme it to that sort of whatever the knit along is being, especially like a generic one like Halloween or something like that. You can normally make it work. So I'm using a black as the contrast for heels, toes and cuffs, and it's just a Signet Truly Wool Rich 4-ply, and it's colour 2066 black. So it's just a black nylon. It's got nylon. It's 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide. So it's perfect for contrast, and it comes in quite a few. I've got 4 or 5 different colours of that, and it's just perfect for contrast as of when you need them, because I've got weird feet. I've got like troll feet. They're short and square and wide, so if I did heels, toes and cuffs on both socks, it takes more than 20 grams, so I can't use sometimes I can't get away with a mini skein, unfortunately. So a 50 gram ball is perfect for that, for me, to save me having to break into a full skein of yarn just to do contrast. Okay, in the next project is the Hubster socks. I've made quite a bit of progress on these, actually. These have been when I went to WI the other night, and when I go and see my dad and things like that, I take these with me. So they're just perfect travel knitting. So these are socks that I'm knitting for my husband. And they are being knit in the Batcave colourway. And the contrast is, whoa, blowing out dramatically, is Limoncello. And both of these are by the lovely Amy at Stranded Dye Works. And there's her card that I used to count the heel rows on, because I didn't have anything else to write on at the time. So it's lovely Amy. Yeah. And that's the ball bands. So it's Limoncello and Batcave. And they really work well together. So I've done legs done. I've done the heel. I just did a normal heel flap and gusset for him in the Limoncello. So now I'm powering down the foot, which is going to take forever because he's got big feet. Both I knit socks predominantly for myself and my sister, and we've both got size 5 feet, so it's weird having to knit for a size 10 foot. So it feels like it's taken forever to do the foot. Okay, and next in my lovely sheepy bag is, this is by Mrs. Moog, this bag. Mrs. Moog on Etsy. If you follow her on Instagram, then she tells you when her shop updates are going to be, and I know she's making a new batch of sheepsies at the moment. Okay, so this, last time we saw this was a little wormy thing. This is my Madewell cardigan by Joji Locatelli. So I've got the yoke done, which I'm really pleased with, and I've separated for the sleeves, and they are, I've put my sleeves on my clover stitch holder doobries. These things, circular stitch holders they're called. I did talk about them in a previous episode, but they're brilliant. So so I've split for the sleeves, and I'm doing the front increases at the moment. So I think I've got 5 more increases to do along the front edge, and then just got some straight knitting to do, and then start the waist shaping. And this yarn is by the lovely Tracy at Norah George Yarns, and it's in her Crookshanks colourway. So I'm nearly at the end of the first. I've got that much left of the first skein. I was 2 weeks ago. This was going to be ripped out because I just couldn't grasp the pattern whatsoever. And it's not the way that the pattern's written. It was the way, because there's quite a lot of information in the pattern. Like when you were doing the yoke, it was like, you know, which the make one lefts and rights and where you had to do them and all that sort of stuff. Just couldn't, the way it was written, the way it was laid out, I just couldn't grasp it whatsoever. So if I show you the typeface, really, the typeface is like really small, and I just couldn't, it was really driving me bonkers. So I was just like, right, I'm going to frog it and find something else to do, because I really couldn't grasp it. And then I thought, no, it's just how my brain is trying to process the information. So I'm only going to show you this quickly because it is the pattern. But if you see, I printed it. I copied and pasted it, and then changed each section into a different colour. So you had different... So I had a different colour for the front, like right front, and I put whatever colour I printed it in, I put a stitch marker of that colour attached to whichever section it was. So you've got like right front, then right sleeve, then you had the back, and then you had left sleeve and left front. So I printed them in 5 separate colours in big typeface. I also changed from my Knit Pro Zings to the Knit Pro Symphonies. I don't know what it was about them. I love the Zings, but there was just, something didn't feel right. And you know, as knitters, when it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right. So a combination of the pattern being like it was and the needles, and I was just like, right, I'm going to frog it, I'm going to start something else, I'll do a jumper with it. I thought, no, because I really want this cardigan, because it's a really lovely cardigan. I'll show you a picture of the lovely Ho-He wearing it. So it's a really lovely cardigan, and I was like, no, I'm not going to let this beat me, I'm not going to be defeated. So that's what I did. I rejigged the pattern to so that it was easy for me to comprehend it. Like I say, it's not on, the pattern is written beautifully, but it was just my brain couldn't process it correctly. So by breaking it down into the different colours, and then having each section a different colour, it flew. I think it didn't take me long at all to do the yoke. And now I'm flying with it, you know. I haven't, because of doing the mandalas and things like that, I haven't put a great deal of time into it, but this will hopefully get some more love over the next few weeks. I just love the different tones that are in this yarn. So hopefully when I see you again in a couple of weeks, I'll put a progress keeper in now, and then when I see you next time, hopefully it will have grown significantly more. So really, it's lovely. I do like knitting on it, but I just had other priorities the last few weeks. Oh, stitch stoppers. Sorry, technical issue. One of my little foam stitch stoppers has come off the needle. And these are from Yarnistry Shop on Etsy, and they're brilliant. They come in different sizes, and they just sit on the edges of your needles. Stop your stitches falling off, because we don't want that happening. No. Okay, we're getting there, honestly. Right, okay, next one is a spoiler. If you are doing the Stephen West, the new Stephen West mystery knit along, or you want to knit it and haven't started yet and haven't seen what it looks like or anything, then you might want to skip ahead, because I'm going to show it now. Okay, so this is how far I have got. I don't know whether that's the right side. It's like 3 million ends to weave in, but there you go. So this, I've just finished the end of the section where you start with the main colour, your first main colour. So this shawl uses 3 speckles that fade or graduate into each. I suppose that means the same word, but same thing. But they don't have to be a fade as such, but just go with each other. So you use 3 speckled yarns, and then 5 different contrast colours. 5 like minis. So the first colour I'm using is Hattie by hand dyed by Kate, and it's the Hattie colourway, and it's 75% merino, 25% nylon, and it's really nice. It's like it's not as white as it's coming out, it's like a beige colour, and then it's got like speckles of purples and browns and like ochre in it, and it's really lovely. So that's my first main colour, and then my second colour, so yeah, the second one will go into this one, which is again by Norah George, and it's the Aragog colourway. So again, 75% merino, 25% nylon, and again it's slightly browner than it's coming out. It's looking quite purple there, but it's more brown. on there. So that's the second one, and then the third colour is this one, which is a Malabrigo sock and the Primavera colourway. So that's all three of them together. So I did some stash raiding. This Malabrigo has been in my stash for ages, and this, the one from Hand Dyed by Kate, I got at Wonderwall this year in April. So it's nice to be able to do stuff from stash. See, this is why we have a large collection of yarn, so that when something like this comes out, you can just go and choose. So for my pops of colour, so it's the mystery knit along is called Speckle and Pop. The pattern's a bit, the cat come in the other day all wet and decided to walk all over it. So this is Speckle and Pop Mystery Shawl Knit Along by the fabulous Mr. Stephen West. So like I said, you use 5 pops of colour. So I've got the limoncello that I'm using in Nigel's socks. So limoncello, and then I'm not going to take them out of the bags, but they're orange and green, like neon orange and green. And these are from a mini skein set that I got from Made by Jude at Stitch Fest in Totnes last year. Comes with 5 different neons, but I didn't want to do them all neon. And then this is number 4, which is a really sweet mini skein by a company called Sarah's Texture Crafts, who sadly is no longer dying. And that's got sparkle in it as well. It's like a red. And then this one again is also a Sarah's Texture Crafts purple, which, as you know, I can't say purple without doing it in a Scottish accent for some reason. So you start with a I-cord cast on, and then so you can see it's like a V, it's like a squiggle shape. So I've done the first 10 wedges in the first main colour, and then you can see all 5 of the contrasts going through. So now I start striping in the main colours 1 and 2 in these wedges with the contrast in between, and then you do a section of just number 2 on its own, and then you stripe 2 and 3, and then a section of number 3 on its own. And Clue 2 came out yesterday, and it's going in a completely another direction, which is pretty cool. So to me, this is what a mystery knit along should be about. It's about different patterns, different textures, different, the way the yarns play together, and the element of surprise. However, the next mystery knit along I'm going to talk about, I am disappointed, to say the least. Sorry, let me just put this away. Not good podcast viewing. Right, let's chuck that away. So the final whip that I am sad to say is going to be frogged after putting all this work into it is the What the Fade mystery knit. Loved this brioche section, although I did mess it up quite a bit, but it did get me started brioche knitting. Then, so that was the first 3 clues were the brioche. So, and then next clue came out, garter, brilliant. Have a little bit of a rest, do some garter. No. The next clue came out, still more garter. Right, okay. And then there was a bonus 6th clue, which was just make some tassels and put them on the end. So, to me, that's not a mystery knit along. You had 3 clues of brioche. 2 or 3. Yeah, I think it was 3 of brioche. Might have been 2, I can't remember. Anyway, you had like 2 or 3 of brioche, and then 2 or 3 of just garter, and then a bonus clue of make some tassels and put them on the end. And I know, looking at forums, looking through Instagram, chatting to a few other people, they weren't overly impressed either. And it's sad because I think if there'd been a bit more texture in here, or maybe a lace section or something like that, because just garter from here to eternity, sometimes, yeah, that's what you want. But to have all this brioche and then just garter on the edge, you know, for the bottom section, which was going to be, you know, this deep, or if not a bit more. I was a disappointed mystery knitter, must admit. I really was. And my friend Imogen, hi Imogen, is knitting it as well, and we were both a bit, is that it? So I am going to frog it, because there's 6 skeins of gorgeous yarn in this shawl, and I don't want it just sit in a bag and never be finished. So I'm thinking that I might do another brioche project with it, but once I'm doing a brioche class, not this week, the week after. So I think once I've been to that and I know the tips and tricks of brioche and how to fix mistakes, and things like that, then I'm going to do, sorry, there's lots of ums at the moment because I'm trying to choose my words carefully. See, I made mistakes here. I think I burped when I should have barked, or barked when I should have burped, or something, I don't know. So I'm not going to frog it until I'm going to take this to my class with me and say, look, this is the mistake I made. What was the mistake, and how would I have rectified it? Or would it have been a case of just tinking all the way back, to be able to make it look right? And some of the increases I didn't do correctly and things like that. So I just want to know the tips and tricks, really, of how to brioche. So I'm not going to frog it until then. And then once I've done that class, then I may look at doing the Excuse Me shawl by Stephen West, or one of Stephen's patterns that has got a large brioche element in it, that I can use these gorgeous yarns to their full potential, really. I think that's what disappointed me more than anything, was I'm not going to get to show, other than this brioche bit, I'm not going to get to show these yarns to their full potential together, working together. But you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles when you do a mystery knit. It's never, you're not going to get something that you enjoy every single time. And I've did one mystery knit before, and that was Mina Phillips, the Knitting Expat, I did the Cozy Schlanket knit along, mystery knit, and that was pretty cool. That was every week was like a different texture or you know, and the way the colours, it was a 3-colour shawl, and the way they all worked together and things like that. So, and I think that boosted my level of interest in a mystery knit along. And then this, unfortunately, didn't. It sort of bit me on the bum, really. And then I was a bit apprehensive about the Stephen West one. I signed up for it not long after this one started, or it may have been before this one started. I couldn't remember. So I was a bit apprehensive to start with, and then Stephen put out a spoiler on the knit along group of what Clue 1 looked like, and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, I could go for that. So and knowing how Stephen works, you know it's going to be interesting. The construction's going to be different, or you know, the colour aspect is going to be different. So I have to say I'm enjoying it so far. I'm way behind. Clue 2 came out yesterday and I'm only a third of the way through Clue 1, but Clue 2's not that big, so hopefully I get some decent knitting time on it this week and catch up. But so I don't want to talk about this any longer because I think I've talked about it enough, so that can go back in the naughty corner. And then, okay, so moving on now to the exciting part, which is stash enhancement. Or as somebody, I met somebody yesterday who watches my podcast. Hi Tina. And she was like, you enable so much. I was like, sorry. Has to be done. So talking of Mr. Stephen West, as we were just now, I treated myself to his West Knits and Best Knits book, and it came on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I haven't had a chance to sort of have a proper look. Oh, look at that. Talking of brioche, how about that fella? So that's the brioche chevron wrap. So I haven't had a chance to look at it properly yet, so I'm going to have a good, oh that's the excuse me, there look, that I was just saying about. So I'm going to have a proper read through, and then I may do a review next time. And I also got the latest copy of Lane magazine, which is a really beautiful magazine, and this is the autumn winter 2017. And the photography is just fabulous, and it's a, oh look at that, that's nice, that's pretty. So the way they, oh, that's the fallen leaves, sure. So again, I haven't had a chance to read this properly yet, so I'm going to sit down over the weekend, hopefully, and have a read through these, both of these, and might be a good podcaster and take some notes, and then do a review next week, not next week, week after, of Lane, the latest issue of Lane magazine. Right. You might want to grab yourself a drink, go for a wee, because this is full of stash. I've been naughty. I had a couple of things come in the post. I'm just going to take that progress. So this is the latest instalment of the Harry Potter. I think this was the September issue. of Harry Potter yarn and charm club from a homespun house, and the yarn is Oh No, She Made You a Weasley Jumper, and then this contrasting mini skein is Molly Weasley's Homemade Fudge. So I think they're cute, and as soon as I opened this I was like, oh, that's really pretty. And I might do the Clark socks by Jacqueline, can't remember what his sorry, I was looking at the cat, that's why I said his. Look, I can't remember what her surname is, but she's got the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast. Sorry, if you can hear that jangling, that's the cat jumping around. It's come to join us. Hello? You want to come say hello? This is Billy Boo Bear. His favourite sleeping spot is on the middle back of the middle cushion on the sofa. So apologies if he's annoying. And the Sucre miniature charm is a Weasley sweater. How cute is that? I was like, oh my god, that's adorable. I really want to knit a Weasley sweater one day. But obviously with a L on it, not a W, because I'm not a... Oh, I could do a W because I'm a Williamson. So there. I could do a W. And the other thing I got in the post was this beautiful self-striping yarn from Nicole C. Mendez, who's based in Germany. And it's ridiculous. The postage costs from Germany are so cheap. I think I think it was like cheaper than ordering yarn from the UK, which is mental. But there you go. And it's the tangent. The Shrieking Shack colourway, which is 75% virgin wool and 25% nylon. So that's going to be like a really cool stripes of green and purple. See? Purple. I don't know why. What is it? Anyway, moving swiftly on. I got these on a D-stash from Pixies of Usual, and it's two 50-gram skeins of sock yarn in the colourway Elf, which are really cute. So I may make matching socks for me and my sister. How sad's that? And I may do them in November because I can still enter them into the festive sock along then, which runs to the end of November. So at least get my pair done, and I might do Sarah's for Christmas. But there's like 600 things I want to knit her for Christmas because she's quite knit worthy. Okay, so the rest is, or some of it now, is what I picked up at 3 Bags Full last night. As I was helping out, I didn't get a huge amount of shopping time. I was quite restrained for me, which is unusual. But I will show you what I did buy. So, from the lovely Bellica Yarns, I got this really cool speckle. So you got speckles of blues and pink, because pink and black, and so it's a really cool speckle, and it's the Disco Diva colourway, and again it's 85% merino, 15% nylon, and it's speckalicious. And I also got a set of these mini skeins to use as contrast for who knows what, but you can never pass up a mini skein. And then this was a new to me dyer. I think she's fairly local to the Cornish area. Is Fox Eats Fibre, and pink. Can't go wrong with pink and grey, as you can see, but it's blowing out a bit on the camera. It's not quite as pink as it's looking there. and it's called, the colourway is Flowers Grow in Her Shadow, and it's 80% superwash BFL and 20% bamboo. It's really soft. For a BFL, it's quite soft. What else did we get? The fabulous Rosie's Moments were also at 3 Bags Full last night. It was the first year that they'd been there, as well as Bellica. So I got this. I've been asked to do a test knit for a sock, and it's quite a patterned sock, so I didn't want anything like whoa. So I think this was just like the subtle speckles, and this is a Game of Thrones reference, which I don't watch, so I've got no idea really. Winter is Coming, Jon Snow, and again it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and that's Rosie's information, if it's focusing correctly, but I'll link it below anyway. And finally, the last thing I bought last night, yeah, that is, was this, again, a new to me dyer, hand dyed by Demelza's Delights from Pellant in Cornwall. And I debated over this because it's called Kerno, which is the Cornish for Cornwall. And being from Devon, we've got that rivalry of, you know, who's better, Devon or Cornwall. But my thought behind it was, turn it around, it looks like Hufflepuff yarn. So that was, you know, I don't need to call it Cornwall, I can call it Hufflepuff. Or I can call it whatever I want. And it came with this little Cornish pasty charm. And how do you tell the difference between a Cornish pasty and a Devon pasty? Cornish pasties are crimped around the edge. A Devon pasty will be crimped over the top. So now you know. Now you know. Right. I also went to our local yarn shop the other day because I needed some yarn to finish one of the mandalas. And I picked up some baby wool for my soon to be born great niece. Hurry up, Banana, hurry up, we're waiting. She's due any minute really. My sister's going up to London to be with my niece Holly, who is pregnant, on Wednesday, and said she's not coming home until she's a grandma. So it's all very exciting. So hurry up, Miss Banana, we're waiting. So I picked up, Holly wants some hats and some like scratch mitts and stuff. So I might just do these, but this one has got like really subtle pink variation, and this is like a really pale pastel rainbow, which is quite sweet. Oh, balls. I meant to bring over a back issue of Pom Pom magazine. And then, warning, big balls alert. I bought 2 of these, which are bigger than my head. I really hope that YouTube picks this as the... When you upload a video to YouTube, it gives you thumbnails as to what will be the picture that goes with the video. You know, like the thumbnail. And I really hope it chooses that, because that'll be hilarious. So this is a Stylecraft Special Aran with wool. And they are a mighty 400 gram balls. And it is a 80% acrylic, 20% wool. And you get 818 metres. And I paid £9.50 for one of these babies. So for 19 quid, I can make myself an everyday jumper. Yeah, I know there's that acrylic in it, but because it's got the wool in it as well, it's not too bad of a quality actually. But for £9.50, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to make the Kaylee jumper that was in the birthday issue of Pom Pom Quarterly. I'll insert a picture here because I forgot to bring I meant to pick up the issue that it was in to show you. And this is the Hollyhock colourway. And I think this comes in about 15 different colours. So, you know, if you are on a budget, I did look at buying, I wanted the West Yorkshire Spinners Croft, but because my girls are big, I have to make a large size. And it was going to be like 90 quid in yarn, which, yeah, it's a one-off, you know, it's going to be a unique jumper that nobody else in the world has got. And if you bought a pure wool jumper in a shop, would cost you 150 quid ish. But I can't justify that expense at the moment. Who knows what the future may bring, but at the moment. So I thought this was a real low cost alternative. So once I've finished my Madewell cardigan, I am going to then knit Sides and Stripes by Vera Velamaki, and then I will get on with this. My aim is to always have a garment of some sort on the needles. I'm not going to be, you know, saying that I'm going to be monogamous and just knit sweaters, because that's not me. I'm not a monogamous knitter in any way, shape or form. I have a low attention span, which means I need different things. You know, and I always have at least one sock on the go. If not, if I'm doing a pattern sock, I'll always have a vanilla sock on the go. So when I go out and about, I can take vanilla sock with me. And I quite often always have one short on the needles as well. So, you know, I'm not envisioning this being done this side of Christmas, because I need to crack on with Christmas knitting as well. For those few that I'll knit for. So yeah, that's my big balls. Looking really soft. So that was all the stash enhancement. It was quite bad. Quite bad. It's not the worst I've ever been, but yeah. So I don't think there'll be any more except club yarns for the rest of this month. Sorry, I've got cat hair on my mouth now. So there may not be a lot of stash enhancement on the next episode, but who knows. Instagram is terrible for, oh, I like that, oh, I like that, oh, I like that. And then the next thing you know, you've got 10 skeins of yarn coming through the door. Oops. Okay, so final thing to talk about is 3 bags full that happened last night. So this happened, it was the 4th, maybe the 5th year. Oh God, I'm so bad. Brain like a sieve at the moment. At least the 4th, if not the 5th year that the show had run. And it happens on the first Friday of every October. And it's 4 till 8 in the evening, which is a really cool time. I think sometimes at the weekends people have stuff on with kids, and, you know, if they work all week, then there's food shopping to be done, etc. You know, so it's not always easy for people to come along to an event on a Saturday or a Sunday. Whereas if it's very clever doing it after work on a Friday, and being 4 till 8, so, you know, it captures a lot of people, or just pop in on the way home or something like that. And wowzers, did we have a lot of people come through the door last night. It was the busiest I've ever known it in the last 4 years that I've attended. So this year I was helping out, oh won't say helping with the organisation because I didn't really do a lot, but I helped organise the workshops. After the event, we have 2 weeks worth of every day we do different workshops, some of which go ahead, some of which don't, depending on uptake really. So I helped organise the workshops in the initial period of when we were deciding who we were going to have, what, you know, etc. What people wanted. So, and then due to work commitments and Dad being poorly and things like that, I couldn't really attend many of the committee meetings. But I did do the mandalas to decorate the balcony area in the hall. And then yesterday I helped with the setup and then doing different various things throughout the event. So I helped out with like the teas and coffees. And then I was in the workshop booking room where we also had a yarn swap, donate or take and donate for those who didn't have any yarn to swap. If there was something they wanted, then you could make a donation, and this year our chosen charity was Mind. So we had about 30 vendors, I think, varying things. So obviously you had it was all indie dyed yarn dyers, fibre for spinning, bats, felt making, buttons, spinning, alpaca, somebody who had their own alpacas that sold the yarn. Anakin Alice had a stand. Tina Barrett from the Cornish Gansey Company had a stall. Yeah, Rosie's Moments were there. Bellica Yarns had come down from Bristol. It was, you know, each year the level of vendors that we have is going up and up, and last night was really cool. We do the teas and coffees, and then we have the junk food project from Plymouth come and do the catering. And what they do is they get food donated from supermarkets, local growers, etc. that would normally go to food waste, and that's like near its end of date, or they feel it's right when the fruit's overripe and nobody will buy it, etc. And they make food from this, what would otherwise go to waste, and stuff that they feel is too far gone, they will then send it to be made into animal food. So they did the catering, and they just asked for a donation towards, you know, their time and their effort of doing it, and then they plough that back into helping local projects and stuff. So that was really cool, and they couldn't keep the food going quick enough, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not sure how much was raised for Mind in the end, because all the raffle, so every vendor donates a raffle prize, so all the raffle money went to Mind. And talking to as many of the store holders as I could get to, in the time that I had in between working at various stations, everyone seemed to have a really, really good night. But it was a long day, and some of the helpers had been there like 3 or 4 hours more than I had. It's about a 45 to 50 minute journey for me from here to Liskeard, so I got there early to help set up and, you know, get the decorations going, and helping when people arrived to set up their stalls. We were helping them carry their stuff in and all that sort of stuff, and then obviously flat out most of the evening, helping out So by the time it came to 8 o'clock, I was like, I need to go home now. My little feet were sore, my back was sore, so I came home. I got home just before 9, but yeah, it was a really fun event. I did take a few pictures. I don't think I took anything of the actual event in full swing, but there'll probably be some pictures online that I can put here. So what I will do is, I did take a picture of the mandalas. There's like a mezzanine balcony in the hall, so we put the mandalas up there, and Rachel, who's like head honcho of 3 Bags Full, had crocheted 3D letters saying 3 bags full. So we strung those in the middle, and then we put mandalas, 3 mandalas each side. But it looks like we're going to need like at least 6 more, if not 8 more, next year to fill the balcony up. So yeah, it's a cool event. So if you are in the Devon or Cornwall area in the first Friday of October next year, then hopefully we'll see you there. I can't think of anything else exciting that I need to tell you about. No, there isn't. Life has just been everyday normality. Haven't done anything exciting, I don't think. Nope. So, we will leave it there. Just want to say thank you again for watching, and thank you if you like this video. Please thumbs up and subscribe. All show notes will be down there. And that's it. So, until next time, happy knitting!